Welcome to Save Your Money, Save Your Teeth, the go-to podcast where curiosity meets dentistry, straight from the experts. I'm Eon Engelbrecht, and every week I'll be chatting with Dr Clifford Yudelman, taking a deep dive into the world of dental care from a consumer's perspective. So whether you're looking to brighten that smile or protect your wallet, we've got you covered with practical advice and the latest insights. So stick around as we uncover the secrets to maintaining both your dental health and also your finances. Today, we talk about the economics of preventative dentistry, exploring the cost benefits of regular dental checkups and teeth cleaning to prevent those expensive treatments later. We say a very big hello and welcome to Dr. Yudelman. How's it going, Doc?
Hi, Ian. Nice to speak to you again. I hope you had a great week since we last spoke. And yeah, it's going well.
Great.
Thanks for having me on the show again.
Yes, welcome back. Great to talk to you. So, Dr. Yudelman, what is preventative dentistry and how does it impact long-term dental costs?
Thanks for that. So that's, I guess, the main subject for today. And so just to define that, preventive dentistry includes your regular dental checkups, your cleanings, things like fluoride application if you need fluoride, or getting specific dental advice on how to look after your teeth and prevent any problems that may already be starting, or to make things like small cavities actually go away, which maybe we'll be chatting about later. And then we do things like dental sealants on kids that need them. But basically, to prevent decay and disease, it reduces the need for expensive treatments in the future by catching issues early or preventing them altogether. And that leads to a significant long-term cost savings. And regular maintenance helps to avoid the escalation of minor issues into serious conditions. Like you said, a stitch in time saves nine. Why wait until your tooth has a big cavity when perhaps you can intervene and prevent the cavity in the first place?
Exactly, and not to mention the pain of having that very deep cavity there and living with that and getting food stuck in it. That's the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah, for sure. If you're getting food stuck between your teeth, don't leave it too long. It can cause all kinds of problems.
Oh yeah, no, that's not good at all. Can you explain the economic principle behind the cost benefits of regular dental checkups?
So, the principle of preventive maintenance, where regular upkeep avoids major expenses, applies to dental care just as it does in other things like getting your car serviced however often the manufacturer recommends, rather than waiting until you blow a gasket. And the same with like looking after, if you've gone and invested, most people, their biggest investment is their house, and at some point they might sell it and downgrade to a smaller property. And it's so much better to prevent, if you've got a small leak in your roof, you're not going to wait until your whole house floods and then you have to replace your carpets and so on. So, people do a lot of preventive things similar to preventive dentistry, and investing in regular checkups is cost effective compared to the much higher costs associated when you treat dental diseases that develop, unchecked. And the economies of scale can apply when widespread preventive care reduces the overall demand for dental emergencies, and can lower the costs for all this type of stuff.
What would you say, Doctor, are the most common misconceptions about the cost of preventative dental care?
Well, I think going on from what we just said is many people believe preventive care is expensive, but that's when they don't take into consideration the much higher cost of treating more advanced dental issues. If you're getting regular cleanings and the hygienist is showing you how to floss a particular area that may be getting you may be starting some gum problems. If you leave that for several years, you might end up at a periodontal specialist and have surgery, and you can spend 10 or 20,000 rand to do a bone graft, when maybe you could have just been getting your teeth cleaned on a regular basis. And, a lot of people get coverage if you got medical aid. A lot of the time, the preventive care is usually well covered. At OptiSmile, we're not signed up with any medical aid practices, medical aid schemes, but we know when patients come in and have a checkup and x-rays and a cleaning and so on, they claim back. And there's usually pretty good coverage. And there's also a misconception that home care is enough to avoid dental issues, and people underestimate the role of professional cleanings and checkups in preventing serious conditions.
How significant would you say are the savings when you compare regular dental maintenance to emergency or advanced treatments?
So when you start talking about emergency, you're talking about someone having a toothache or pain. If you have a tooth that's sensitive to cold and it lingers for 5 or 10 seconds, it's really a good time to get it seen to. Or perhaps, you were in 6 or 12 months ago and the dentist said, we should keep an eye on this, or we need to watch that. At least you're on the lookout for any potential problems. And if you wait until you get something cold on a tooth and it starts lingering for more than 20 seconds, that's called irreversible pulpitis, not to get too technical, but basically the tooth will then start twinging all on its own. Or maybe you drink something very cold and it throbs for 20, 30, 40 seconds, it goes away, and then it comes back on its own. At that point, you need a root canal or an extraction. There's no way around it. Whereas if you got it treated earlier, you would prevent that type of problem. And depending on where you go in South Africa, a root canal can be anywhere from 8,000 or 9,000 all the way up to 15,000 rand. And perhaps you could have had a filling for, 900 or 1,000 rand up to 1,500. So, and then even worse, if your tooth is not salvageable, you get an extraction. Who wants to get a tooth pulled in this day and age? Yeah. And if you get a tooth pulled out, then maybe a dentist will offer you a bridge. That's like having 3 crowns done. That can be a lot of money. Or an implant, which is, we do a lot of implants, and the patients pay a lot of money. They literally pay through the teeth. I don't mean to make light of it, but yeah. I wish those patients came to see us 5 or 10 years ago.
Exactly.
And were regular maintenance prevents periodontal disease, which is costly to treat. But as we mentioned in previous podcasts, there's other health issues, and you can incur additional medical expenses. And the cost of dental neglect can extend beyond financial implications, including, lost wages from work or quality of life, which might be harder to quantify, but very significant.
You know what? I actually remember just after school, I had a root canal, and it took me so long to pay it off, and it was one of the weirdest and scariest procedures I've ever had done on my face, on my mouth, or in my mouth.
You're not meant to scare our listeners, but I think most people listening maybe share your the experience. And we're definitely going to be doing a whole podcast just about root canals and avoiding root canals. And in this day and age, we, like at OptiSmile, if someone does need a root canal, we have a Bluetooth machine that connects to an iPad, and it's all very carefully controlled. And doing a root canal in this day and age shouldn't be the same type of experience as what you mentioned.
Yeah, but didn't have any of that fancy technology. It was
but
just
someone's got to pay for that iPad and that fancy handpiece, and each of those little root canal files can be 1,000 rand or more, to use a set. Yeah. And there's nothing, there's no bargains in neurosurgery and root canals.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, I'm sure a lot of us have stories to tell about root canals, but it was my experience with the particular dentist I had it was almost like he was a plumber. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so
we should actually do a call in sometime, and people can share wisdom teeth stories, root canal stories, and weird. There's a lot of weird dentists out there. I get patients telling me about their weirdo. The last time they went. Stuff that the dentist did, and I just got to sit there and nod my head because I can't believe that there's dentists out there doing that stuff.
Exactly.
But if you're one of those guys listening, don't do that.
So that's why prevention is so important. And I, to this day, I still regret not giving that tooth attention when it, like your car, you see those little warning lights coming on. What do? Well, if you're a good person, you go and you take your car and you go get it seen to. You don't wait for all the lights to come on before you do something about it. Sometimes it's too late, and that's when you go into the root canal segment of it all. But anyway, yes. Doctor, what role does insurance play in the economics of preventative dentistry?
Yeah, so look, insurance and medical aid, I don't think it's a good term because they're in the business of making money, and so a lot of the time they will cover like the bare minimum, and when it's time to get a root canal or an implant, they're not going to pay very much. So if all you can afford to do is to go to a dentist on your medical aid, we're not on medical aids, we charge out of plan rates, but if at the bare minimum going on your medical aid plan, generally you have very little out-of-pocket cost. If you want to upgrade from that, I think next week's podcast, we're going to talk about, finding a quality dental provider, and some of that might come into it. But, medical aid can help make some things affordable, but I wouldn't rely on medical aid. It's amazing how many people have got medical aid and just never use it, at least for the bare minimum, like going and getting an x-ray and getting a checkup or a cleaning, even if you don't want to get fillings or root canals, at least just go and find out what's going on.
So beyond the financial aspect, what other long-term health implications are we looking at as a result of dental neglect?
So in a previous podcast, I can't remember, I think it was the one before the last, we spoke about neglecting your dental care can lead to serious health issues such as heart disease, diabetes, respiratory infections in elderly people that like inhale bad bacteria from their mouth. And there's many links between oral health and overall health. So we've covered that. The other one is, long-term dental pain and dysfunction can lead to difficulty eating, and in severe cases, malnutrition and diminished quality of life. But I'm not sure that would affect a lot of our listeners unless they've got severe phobia. You could get someone that's a high LSM or with a good income. Sometimes I've even seen medical doctors that are very, very scared of the dentist. They've got the money to come. They've got broken teeth. I had a medical doctor not long ago with his wife insisted that he come in. He had 3 or 4 broken teeth. He couldn't even eat. It always blows my mind when you get doctors that don't look after themselves like that. Yeah. And then one of our previous episodes, maybe we can put a link in the show notes, is the psychological impacts, lower self-esteem, social withdrawal due to poor oral health and appearance, and breath issues. We spoke about breath in the first podcast, our Valentine's Day, the one that we kicked off the series. So anyone listening to this, please go back and share our previous podcasts, or go back and look for these. It seems like we're covering quite a lot of stuff. I'm very happy with the way our podcasts are going. Eon, thank you very much.
Absolutely. No, thank you to you. Doctor, I think looking to the future, how do you see the economics of preventative dentistry evolving?
So advances in dental technology and materials will definitely lower the cost of preventive care and make treatments more effective and less invasive. So we're looking into purchasing. There's 3 of these machines available on the market. and they seem to be getting better and better. There's machines that use warm water with powder in the water, and when you get a cleaning, we just basically like hose down your tooth, and you don't need a lot of that high-pitched ultrasonic scaling and all of that polishing with a brush or a rubber cup. There are already practices in Cape Town that use it. The machine, all these new technology and materials are very expensive. I mean, the one machine is from Switzerland. It costs 200,000 Rand, which means if you do even 400 or 500 cleanings, it's going to cost someone 500 Rand a cleaning. So these things are very expensive. But at OptiSmile, we really emphasize using the latest equipment and so on. And as long as it's proven and it's been going for 6 months or a year, and there's a few of the different things on the market, we tend to get stuck in quite early. There's a increased emphasis on holistic health, lead to better integration of dental care into the general health care, and growing awareness of the importance of oral health could lead to changes. I mean, someone like Discovery or other medical aids really should pay better for gum treatment and treatment by dentists for sleep apnea, because they'll pay for less heart transplants if they help people look after their teeth. Yeah.
And finally, Doctor, would you say early childhood education on dental hygiene would play a significant role in reducing those future dental expenses?
Yeah, 100%. I'm so pleased you mentioned that. So at OptiSmile, myself and my wife, Robin, who's the CEO, and she runs OptiSmile, we've been involved not only with Rotary Club, but also with something called the Dental Wellness Foundation in Cape Town. We help with a program in Mfuleni and Khayelitsha with up to 20,000 kids a week. We've got these toothbrush mamas in the townships that actually teach the kids how to brush their teeth. They come after school, they get free toothpaste and they brush together. It's a social thing. We educate these mamas. When I say we, I mean we help support the organization. I personally don't go and teach the kids, but we're very involved with that, and we have been for a number of years. During COVID, the Dental Wellness Foundation also had soup kitchens and sandwich programs, and we got involved in growing food at schools. My wife is still very involved with Rotary Club. It's no longer part of dental wellness. It's part of Rotary. Is at Ellerton School, we teach kids how to grow vegetables, and it actually that all helps. Proper diet and oral hygiene and hand washing. It's also a hand washing program. These things prevent these gastric diseases from passing from one kid to another, things like cholera, which you'll find in the townships when there's an outbreak. Education, funnily enough, you'd think that higher LSM or wealthier kids wouldn't have cavities, but we see, because they can afford more candy and more Coke, and we see worse problems often in kids that come from wealthy families. So, school-based dental health programs can reach children who might not get health education at home. So, reducing decay in the community is very important, and integrating oral health education into general health and wellness curricula, reinforces the importance of dental care as part of overall health maintenance. So, I'm really happy to be able to talk about that, and thanks for asking.
And with that, we wrap up today's episode of Save Your Money, Save Your Teeth. Dr. Clifford Yudelman, thank you so much once again for sharing your expertise with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, and thanks for having me on. And sometimes talking about a stitch in time saves nine, and just being proactive. If someone's listening to the program and they're very scared of the dentist, or they have low self-esteem, or they haven't had a cleaning in a number of years and they feel embarrassed about their teeth, they can book a no charge or a free video consultation with myself or one of the dentists at OptiSmile, or there are a lot of other dentists in South Africa and around the world that do the same kind of service, where, maybe you can ask a dentist about a particular problem and not spend any money, just do a free video consult, at least, put your foot, dip your toe in the water, so to speak. I think, I'm not here to encourage people specifically to come to OptiSmile. If you live on the other side of the country, or you're overseas listening to this podcast, don't let problems get worse. I think that's the overall message for today. Preventive dental care works.
Exactly, and we have enough potholes in the roads. We don't need potholes in our mouths as well. I think that's very important.
Don't edit this out, please.
No?
I love that.
And also, as always, thank you, Doctor, and also to our listeners for tuning in. Remember, while we strive to provide valuable insights, always consult with your own dental professional for advice tailored to your personal health. And also, don't forget to subscribe for more enlightening discussions. And then join us again next week as we continue to explore the fascinating intersection of dental health and financial savvy. Until then, keep smiling and taking great care of your teeth.
Discover the world of dental excellence with OptiSmile. Join us for a weekly podcast featuring Dr. Clifford Yudelman, a seasoned expert with 40 years of dental experience across 4 continents. Gain unique insights and expert dental advice by visiting optismile.co.za for articles that illuminate the path to optimal oral health. If you're seeking unparalleled dental care in Cape Town, get in touch with OptiSmile or book directly online on optismile.co.za. OptiSmile, where global expertise meets local care.